It has consistently been at the forefront of almost all things drones for over a decade now, from package deliveries, airspace management, and securing airspace. NUAIR just recently partnering with the 174th Attack Wing to mark another key milestone. Joining us now, NUAIR President and CEO Ken Stewart. Always good to see you, Ken. Thanks for being here.
Likewise. Thanks so much for having me.
So fill us in. What was this latest project all about with the 174th?
Sure. So it's really about three things. One is about helping the 174th kind of fulfill their mission and training their pilots. And in doing so, building infrastructure that has to scale. You don't build a road for just one vehicle. And so that infrastructure really has to be dual use. So safely integrating DoD and civilian vehicles into the national airspace really requires this common operating picture, and that's essentially what we've built here. We want to avoid what happened down in D.C. with the military helicopter and the commercial aircraft. And then the last point of this is really security of the national airspace. Last November in New York and New Jersey, closed airports because there was supposed drone sightings, and so how do we start solving those problems? How do we start providing what's actually happening in the airspace?
What is this? I mean, there's so many things to take out there, but is there kind of a bigger picture thing of using FAA-approved third-party networks here that will help us kind of move forward in this drone space?
Yeah, I mean, I'm so happy you bring that up. So, we're the first private company to ever get that letter of approval from the FAA. So a big, huge boost to the area. But what it really means is if you look at air traffic control today, or what we refer to as kind of active airspace management, it's predominantly in and around airports. And so say under 6,000 feet, FAA only actively manages about 5% of the country. So how do you manage that other 95%? And for that to be built out, it really is going to rely on the private sector. I tend to think of this like toll roads. We have a lot of infrastructure that's been built over the years by, departments of transportation, but now we see this really trending towards toll roads or public-private partnerships that provide this infrastructure for those that want to use it. And so this private space, the low-altitude economy will be used by drone operations, air taxis, and as they start flying those operations, the people that use that are either going to be the ones that pay for that, and that's going to really come from the private sector.
It seems like this kind of fits in with this push at the White House, this call for airspace sovereignty. This is all kind of working together in that realm, right?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I mean, that's one of the unique things about NUAIR in this space with what the White House is looking for, not just on the airspace sovereignty, but there's this whole look now over like the FIFA World Cup. And one of the reasons why Homeland Security kind of brought us in as an approved vendor is, one, we can see everything that's happening in the airspace, whether it's a drone, whether it's a manned aircraft, both cooperative and non-cooperative aircraft. They can also launch an aircraft using that infrastructure. So they've got counter UAS, they can launch aircraft, and they can see everything. So part of that whole goal is to say, how can we start deploying these types of surveillance or airspace awareness tools in and around these locales where we're going to need to be able to see what's happening to prevent any bad things happening, but also then start having these components stay in place long after the FIFA events to give them that surveillance, that airspace awareness of what's happening in the airspace in and around these cities and locations and venues.
That's a pretty big deal. FIFA World Cup in the States next year. I mean, people are coming from all over the globe for that. I mean, and you're going to be pretty intimately involved in this then, from what you're saying.
Well, we think so. We'll see. It's a process, like everything else with the federal government. It's a process. But all the, the 11 or 12 cities, I think, where this is occurring is now putting together their proposals. They'll submit that to the federal government. I think they've got less than 30 days to do that. Then the federal government has 30 days to approve or deny that. So it's going to happen pretty quickly. But it is a big event. I mean, World Cup is a big global event, and the amount of money the administration's putting into safety and security, even beyond UAS and counter UAS systems, is a pretty big, like $2 billion investment. So,
yeah, that's pretty big in my book, $2 billion. So we're hoping maybe by, I'm trying to do the math, December, January, maybe like early February, mid-February, you guys should know.
Yeah, I think January, February timeframe is going to be a good time for us to really understand what role we'll play at these different venues.
Awesome. We'll certainly check back in with you. Ken, thanks so much for joining us. Really appreciate it. Be good.
Thank you so much. You have a great holiday.
Join News Channel 9 for A Christmas Wish and help us support the rescue mission. A Movie with a Mission, this Sunday at noon on News Channel 9 and WSYR+.